Hi frequent flower friends, it's Sarah with Main Street Florist, and I'm excited to share these flowers with you this month. Also, if you've looked at the email, hopefully you have because you clicked on the link, I showed the vase that I'm using today. If you're interested in getting this vase for yourself to arrange with, just let us know and we can set it aside for you. When you pick up your flowers, you can pick up your vase as well. We're calling it the mermaid vase. It's just really pretty, kind of got the aquas, greens, blues happening, and it's gonna look really beautiful with our flowers this month. So this month we are working with Craspedia, also known as billy balls. We've got a little bit of limonium that we have color tinted to match our vase. And then we have micro daisies. So these are super fun. They are just like your traditional chrysanthemum, daisy, mum that you're familiar with, but they're micro, meaning they're mini. They're about half the size of the typical daisy we get in. These are gonna be really long lasting, and they're just kind of fun and different and really make us ready for spring. So, and Craspedia is native to Australia and New Zealand. These are just a really fun flower. They are a flower. They are long lasting as well. These are even really great to dry. I'll give you a tip: if you enjoy your flowers, have them in the water, that's just fine. If you decide to dry them, take them out of the water and hang them upside down. Let them dry outside of the water source. That way they don't grow any mold or anything. You can dry these and enjoy them as well. I also think your micro daisies would dry, and we know your limonium would. One fun fact about these Craspedia, or the billy balls, if left untouched, they can grow the size of tennis balls. I'm not sure why we're not growing them the size of tennis balls. I think that would be amazing, but probably not gonna be great to work with. They probably wouldn't support themselves on the stems as well, and they'd be much more expensive. So that's probably why we're not. But now I'm tempted, like, can I grow these in my garden? We'll find out. Okay, let's get started. So to begin with, we're gonna go ahead and remove all the foliage below our water line. I've got clean water with flower food in my vase already, and I am just gonna remove all of this lower foliage. If it's left to hit the water, that's where bacteria and mold is gonna grow, and we don't want any of that to happen. So start by cleaning all your stems and removing the foliage. If you have lower laterals, you can remove those too, and we can still tuck them into our vase a little later. When you're working with chrysanthemums like this, you may notice that inside of each one of these stems, there's always one stem that looks like it's broken on the top. What that is the first bud that plant set out. They actually remove that bud to create the spray where you're gonna have multiple blooms, and it just creates a hardier plant. If you are someone who likes to garden, you might be familiar with when people first grow their tomato plants, they may pitch off the top as they just start to sprout, because it creates sort of a stronger plant and not all the energy is going to that first bud or bloom. So that's how it works with disc buds. If that looks bothers you, just take your shears, take your knife, and just trim off that little bit. We're gonna start our arrangement with our micro daisies. So if you've got the 10 stem bunch, you should have 6 stems of these micro daisies. What we're gonna do with them is to start our arrangement, start our grid. So we may still remove some of these lower laterals as we go and any more foliage that we come across. But I'm gonna start with working the 4 corners of my arrangement. And when I'm placing them into my vase, I'm crisscrossing those stems. By crisscrossing those stems, I'm creating a grid that are gonna hold them in place. And as I add other flowers, they'll stand nice and tall the way I want them to. So I've sort of hit those 4 corners. This one's a little tall for me. We're gonna bring it down and still crisscross it back in there. I've got 2 more stems. I think these 2 I'm gonna be placing right in the middle to give us a nice rounded shape. If you feel like you have a hole in a certain area, you could certainly fill in there. Now I'm going to go in with my limonium next. You have quite a bit here to work with, And these you can certainly break into shorter laterals. And we don't need all that height either. So I'm actually gonna cut off quite a bit there. And we can take our laterals. And I am just gonna start kind of filling in any holes where my daisies may not be as full, or just where I think needs a little pop of that mermaid color. And just keep spinning your arrangement around, viewing it from all angles to sort of see where you want to place that filler flower. And I don't want this filler flower to overtake my arrangement, that I'm not seeing these micro daisies or my billy balls where I'm done. I just want it to be an accent. So if you feel like you've got too much, you certainly do not have to put it all in there. You could put it into another arrangement. Okay, so now we've got our billy balls. If you've got a 10-stem bunch, you're gonna have 4 billy balls to work with. Typically, we like to work in odds. It's just a little bit easier on the eye. And if you've just got 2 of something, we might start looking like eyeballs. 3 of something just makes it feel a little more balanced. So this is up to you. You can work with 4, you can place them however you want. If you just want to put in 3, save this for another little side arrangement with your limonium, whatever you want to do. This really isn't about being perfect, it's just about enjoying the process and learning about new flowers and having fun with them. I honestly want this to feel just whimsical, that I'm gonna leave mine long, sticking out like little antennas or like little, I don't know, bumblebees flying above my field of daisies, and just sort of work them in. You also could group them if you wanted to, however you want to place them. I just think they are super fun. I'm gonna group mine maybe more towards the front. I love billy balls, and we don't get them enough. Billy balls or Craspedia, however, whatever you want to call it. Billy balls is a little bit easier to remember. Now you may have a bunch of these little laterals that you took off as well. So again, you could do a second arrangement. Maybe you've got a little bud vase you could fill with these shorties, or you can take these and just work them around the edges of your vase. Just make sure they're still hitting your water. Lots of times I will take them in groups of 2 or 3, give them a fresh cut and place them in. So we'll just add those in there. Okay, so I've got all my little tiny pieces. I just put them around the edges. They just sort of fill in a couple of those holes. I did just make a little yellow bow just to pop right down in front to pick up the color of those Craspedia. Some people like bows, some people don't like bows. For me, it just depends on the day. Some days I'm feeling them, some days I'm not. I thought this was a cute little sweet, kind of felt like a little wildflower patch that I thought the bow was appropriate. So there is our tutorial for the month, guys. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. You can give us a call, and we hope you enjoy your flowers this month. This will be a long-lasting bouquet that may still look as fresh as a daisy on your counter when you get your frequent flowers next month.